is a very, dynamic business environment. I mean, we could say that it's a VUCA world, right? Which is where the environment is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And before I go to this question, let us understand, in the business environment, what are the things which are causing, where we need to have agility and resilience, why we need to have that.
Okay.
One is that you have a diverse mix of generations in the organizations right now, because it's like from alpha is coming into force now, then we have Gen Z, Gen Y, Gen X, So these are different generations of employees in the organization. The second is that apart from this, there are different work models which are also there, because some organizations have hybrid, some organizations also have, some of the roles total work from home. Then there are gig employees, then project-based work are there. Then apart from that, there is bots are also being in picture apart from RPAs. So
Okay.
this is like kind of very diverse kind of workforce models. The next, the other thing which I think is important to share here is, we are one of the India has the largest and successful growth stories. So because of this, there's a significant rise in the GCCs here opening across the country, which is connecting employees not from the tier one, tier two, but also tier three and tier four cities as well. And not to mention, the global connections across different geographies, locations, and, different time zones. So, and then as I was already talking about bots and RPA, so there's AI as well, which is there. So this has made the, work environment complex and more, dynamic kind of thing. So having these complexities, I think one is that, as I was saying, organizations, because they have flexible workforce, it's important to have policies which support these flexibilities. So that's one part of it, whichever works that way. There are organizations where hybrid works, cross-functional teams work, gig work, so that kind of thing. So they need to have those kind of flexibilities that support these kind of diverse workforce which we have in the organizations today. The second, I
Okay.
would say, is to focus on building capability. Of course, a culture of continuous learning goes a long way in the organization. This will ensure that employees have the skills needed to adapt to the evolving roles and the technologies. This could be done through upskilling, reskilling programs, leadership development, and on-the-job, learning, which will help build the agility. And
Okay.
we need to ensure that, employees are partner to their own learning and growth. Unless and until we make them partners, then it doesn't work. So that's important. The third thing I would say is, for HR and any other leader, it's important to leverage the technology and take data driven decision. There's so much technology out here in the market, which are very good. So as per the organization needs and the problem they want to solve, so they need to look at the different technologies. Where I've seen organizations, including ours, where we use sentiment analysis, work pattern analysis, then morale of the organization, the stress level of the organizations, and then employee engagement is something which is widely used. So take those kind of technology which will help us to understand the needs or support us in the journey, and this can help us to have a proactive approach which will help us in quicker and more informed decision making in the times of transformation or change in the organization. The next thing I think is important is to look at the organizational design, because
Okay.
again, it's a diverse place, and it's different models are working, employees, different regions, different time zones, different way of working, so it's important to look at the organizational design, which is which is ensuring consistency and also fluent way of decision making mechanism, right? So so just look at, and if there's any reorganization required in the organization design, I recommend that, we need to look at the organization design. and so that it's like seamless, faster communication, decision making, and of course getting the feedback as well, because it's a two-way communication kind of thing. The next, I think, is important to have cross-functional collaboration, because whether it's like, HR or any other R&D, if they don't collaborate and build, collective problem-solving capabilities, then it's, then the various inputs and different perspective which are, required for decision making will be missing that. So which will lead to more chaos in the organization. So
Okay.
have have those diverse perspectives. It's important to have cross-functional collaborations, which would lead to more adaptable solutions and collective problem-solving capability. Then
Okay.
in my view, having an organization which is like which will at its lifetime will have many transformations and change initiatives. So have a culture which is kind of enabling these kind of changes, which I mean that the employees be given tools and the techniques, maybe training programs where they can take initiative, make decision, innovate without fear of failure, right? And focusing on employee well-being is also important, because in this rapidly diverse work environment, there is high tech but a little bit lower touch now, because we can't have those kind of things without the technology support to reach out to our employees who are far away from us, right, distance. So have those having employee well-being programs will go a long way. Then and I mean, then I would I have seen that open channels of or communications is very important to ensure that the communication is transparent, consistent, multi-directional across the organization. So this will definitely help. And what will help, like having regular town halls, feedback loops, using digital platform where all employees at all levels can voice their ideas, concerns, and feedback, right? So this will enhance the trust. And once there is trust, things will, uh, they will be more inclined and less resistant to the changes. And also from the management side, we could identify the issues uh, beforehand, so that corrective measures could be taken, adapt to the shifts, and make informed decisions. I think
Okay.
if you combine some of these strategies, or have whatever suits the organization, it's good. This will build up agility and
Okay.
resilience in the organization. I think not only HR leaders, but all the leaders uh, play a very critical role in addressing the complexities of managing diverse workforce. I think
Okay.
the first and the foremost thing is to build cultural sensitivity and inclusion. What I mean by that is that we must, as leaders, must foster an inclusive work culture that respects and celebrates cultural differences. Okay, this includes, implementing D&I initiatives that are adaptable to local customs while still aligned with the organizational's, global values. Then leaders could provide training to help employees and managers to develop cross-cultural competencies, which will promote, collaborations and minimize the potential misunderstanding. The second thing which I would say is, having global consistency with local flexibility. It's essential to have global HR policies that drive organizational excellence, but there must be flexibility to adapt to local laws, customs, and
Okay.
market conditions. So we as leaders need to strike a balance by creating a framework that allow for localized approach without sacrificing the overall strategy and the core values of the organization. The third thing which I have seen work is like, having a tailored engagement, employee engagement program and development. Because right now, like, because of the diversity, one size fit all doesn't work. So,
Okay.
so equality is not an option now. It's like equity is something which we need to look at. So we need to have strategies that need that could be tailored to suit regional variations in workforce or employee expectations. So we need to so this means that we need to adjust our leadership styles, reward programs, career development opportunities to reflect the diverse needs of the employees in different region. And we as leaders need to promote such initiatives that empower people, uh, like having leadership development plan that factor in the regional leadership style or mentorship opportunities that bridge cross regional collaboration. And of course, we need to leverage technology for global connectivity. That's a must. But of course, need to choose, because all technology will not work for everybody. So we need to choose what suits us and what will solve our problems in the organization. So that is important. So we need to develop, or I think, we need to focus on, developing a global leadership pipeline that
Okay.
understands the global strategy with regional nuances. So this would help training to build leaders, those who are globally minded but yet locally effective. So yeah, I think these are some of the things which has worked in different organizations, as per my experience. Change management is something which for HR is a very critical role,
Okay.
right? So we are the forefront of the change management. So, there are many strategies, but some of the strategies which I've seen working in the organization is to create a vision and align with organizational goals. Well, it has got two parts. One, the first part is, that we collaborate with the senior management to develop a clear vision for change that aligns with the organizational strategic objectives. The second part is, which is equally important, is to have a communication process that how this change will lead to organizational growth, efficiency, or innovation. And this will help employees to understand its purpose and the value. The second thing is, to engage stakeholders early, key stakeholders and the influencers in the organizations. It could be employees, managers, or leadership, and involve them early in the process of any transformation or change, then gather the inputs, understand the concerns of the employees, address the issues upfront. Then this will help in building trust, their buy-in and commitment, and reducing the resistance to the change. The third is to develop a comprehensive communication strategy. This is a very important, which should be transparent and very important during transition or any change, right? So the detail, so HR need to work with the organizations if there is a communication team or there's a PR group, to have a detailed communication plan to help employees be informed at every stage of the process, right? The messages need to be consistent, clear, and tailored to different audience group. Know that what to expect and how change will affect them, right? Then I mean, this will also, I mean, it's like to build the change, because right now it's like dynamic. It's everything is changing so fast. So having a culture which is change ready. What I mean is that foster culture that embraces change, and this is done by promoting continuous learning, encouraging innovation, recognizing behaviors that align with the change initiatives, right? Then, of course, we need to support the emotional and psychological well-being, have, help them to get support, emotional, through coaching, counseling, or open forums for discussions, and offering these platforms where employees can share their concerns or challenges, fosters trust, and it also reduces anxiety. Then we need to lead by example. Then we need to demonstrate that we are flexible, open-minded, and provide a strong leadership throughout the change process. But having said that, we also need to show our vulnerable side, because otherwise they think that we all know everything, all the answers to all the concerns, but we are not sharing. So this will kind of build an opaque between us, and it will be a us and them kind of thing. Involve them in the process, saying that we don't, and show our vulnerable side. Tell them that okay, we don't have all the answers to your concerns, but together we can figure this out, kind of thing. So show the vulnerable side as well. And
Okay.
celebrating small wins is very important. Sharing transformation stories, which is keeping employees in the forefront, is very helpful.
Okay.
Then you know monitoring the progress is important through KPIs, regular feedback, regular check-ins with the teams. That's important, and adapt to any suggestions, or if we feel that something needs to be adjusted, so that needs to be adjusted. So I think by these approach, the empathy and strategic foresight and proactive communication, we can help the leaders and the organization to take the transformation strategy ahead. That's a very good question.
Okay.
Because leadership development is very essential for
Yes.
cultivating future leaders who can drive the organization's success. And for us as HR leaders, we can have many approaches to nurture the hypo, which is called like high potential employees, into effective leaders. The first thing many organizations have done is to implement a structured leadership development program, which has got both formal learning, that could be through workshops, then back to school kind of programs, seminars, and all that, and then which also includes experiential learning, which could be through job rotations, stretch assignments, so on and so forth, to build essential leadership skills. Second thing which has worked in many organizations is offering coaching and mentoring opportunities, wherein high potential employees are paired up with the seasoned leaders of the organizations, and they're involved in the personalized coaching and mentoring. This enables them to understand the ongoing problem of the organization, then could how the leaders look at the macro and the micro kind of decision making, so they get first hand um, information of how to look at it and all that, and develop the strategic thinking process. The third thing which many organizations do, and it's fast catching up, is to provide stretch assignments. Stretch assignment, what I mean is, uh, organizations are doing, finding the a real organization problem, and, having a cross functional team, and giving that, this problem to solve. So they get, of course, the real, ongoing problem of the organization. So this helps to, broaden their, leadership skills like strategic thinking, then collaborating in different functional groups, then negotiating, then coming to a collective, thinking, collective solution, broadening their mind and their perspective. So this helps a lot,
Okay.
they go through the stretch assignments. Because for one role there could be two, three successors. However, only one of the successor will get that role. So what happens to the other two employees who were really, they were also high, they are still high potential employees. So there's a risk of losing them. So beforehand
Okay.
only, have a career path for them as well, which could be, uh, leading a cross-functional team, different geographies, so on and so forth, broadening, enhancing their scope, so have that plan ready for those two who don't make it all as well. So, have that. Then, providing leadership assessments and feedbacks is a good measure to, get them the feedback, which could be 360-degree, where they getting to understand their, strengths and areas of growth from different, groups, like their manager, their subordinates, their peers, their customers. So this helps them to refine their leadership style and, focus on the development areas. Then, promoting, networking and external learning opportunities is good, because that will, help them to open up their mind, industry, different perspectives of the industry. So this will help them broaden and expose them to the new ideas and the trends, that will help them in strategic thinking. I think fostering a culture of continuous growth and feedback is very good. Which will help them in the leadership journey. Yes, of course, we HR leaders also need to stay ahead of the, emerging trends and the technologies. So we could attend different conferences, participate in webinars, then, participating in seminars, which is focusing on the new technologies. This will help us and encourage us to have a culture of learning within the HR, which is also crucial to adapt to the change. Then second is, look at, the data-driven approaches, which is important, because we also need to leverage technology, because there's so many things which I talked about, things, look at what is appropriate for the organization, what will help to solve that, because any random technology which is looking good and it's working for other organization need not be successful for us. So, we need to look at, and, this will help us to forecast future workforce need and identify potential skill gaps, issues, concerns early on, and which will help us and the leadership to step in early and take cognizance of the fact and take appropriate actions. Then embracing technology, AI and automation is also very important, so that, we can focus on working on strategies and, big ticket item, rather than, just on operational things. And this will really help us to give more exposure to other things which are more beneficial for the organization. Then, we need to stay informed about the shifts in the labor law, workforce expectations, the global economic trends. This could be all done through, through peer and, and other seminars and all that, which I've already mentioned above also, right? I think collaborating is very important across different departments. Allow us as HR leaders to align with the business goals and see that, how we can, collaborate for a synergy and take the organization ahead and align with the strategy of the organization in a broad, in a broad scope of things. Right. And then last but not the least, listen to the employees and not just hear them. And once you hear them, need to act on it, because various research has said that the organizations and manager, those who follow through, are successful. So listening to the employees and acting on what they are saying, what are their sentiments, is very important. I think these are some of the things which we can do to stay ahead of, the emerging trends and the technologies, and, whatever is needed and align with our own organization needs.